Hey guys, it's Ryan here with DP Marketing.Services and author on the book of digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors. Thanks for tuning in. Coming at you with a whiteboard video today on AdWords. So if you're a plumbing contractor looking for like how to use AdWords and HVAC contractor looking how to use AdWords, watch this video first. We have let me start here. We have a love-hate relationship with AdWords, and here's why. AdWords, at its core, is a great product for reaching people when they're in crisis mode, right? So if you want to target people who are like, that's a cell phone, cell phone. So that's a phone, pretend. If you want to reach people like when they're on their phone at 3 a.m. in the morning, you can do that. And you can do it by gender. You can do this by age, you can do this by demographic. Sorry for my handwriting. You can do this by zip code. So it's a really great tool to get very narrow and very specific. Hold on, let me grab my coffee. Always need coffee. You can do this in really granular, really targeted ways that very few marketing channels can do. So you can even say like, hey, our company really has a higher end clientele. So you can say, hey, we just want to target people with Apple smartphones, right? You can do that on AdWords. It's really easy to do. Or maybe you say, hey, we're kind of the bottom of the barrel in price. We want a lot of calls, but we just need very cheap. Well, then maybe it's not those. Maybe you want people who are Samsung. Great. You can do this on AdWords. You can get very specific on who you want to reach in their time of need. Here's the downside. Most of the studies would show that of a given SERP, so here's like a search window, here's what you search for up here, and then here's your block of ads, and here's your map showing like the different map pins, right? Here's 3 businesses, 3, and then you get into like SEO world. SEO. Most of the studies would say that in the ballpark, about 10% of the clicks go here to the ads. Now, to be fair, those studies haven't really been done to this degree since Google Local Services have come out. If you have Google Local Services, you know that it comes up above here with these little check marks, the Google guaranteed. So we're still saying right now, based on best data, about 10% of the clicks. So you can have an ad budget that's targeting just 10% of the people. So you can do, if you have 100 people searching for you right now, only 10% of those are going to click on an ad. So right away, it's already very inefficient because it doesn't get as many people as you need. That said, you can get very granular of who you want to target, which makes it great. Here's the other downside. AdWords is it's driven by a computer algorithm. So you are going to have to train it and feed it with data. That data doesn't come cheap. We don't recommend spending less than $1,500 a month on AdWords. So if you're kind of conservative and like, well, I just want to dabble and do, I don't know, $10, $15 a day, this is a very poor channel for you. It just will not perform the way you need it to. If you're in a competitive market, like let's say you're in Brooklyn or you're Los Angeles or Chicago, $1,500 a month is a drop in the bucket. It's probably a fraction of what it needs. We have guys who spend this a day in those really competitive markets. So every market varies, but in general, if you can't sustainably invest $1,500 a month on AdWords, it's probably not worth considering doing. That said, AdWords has a really good role because it is short term. I'm gonna write it here. Short term. If you set up a well-built campaign in AdWords and then turn it on, you'll have clicks and phone calls by noon of the same day, right? It's really fast. The problem is that your cost of lead acquired, which is an AdWords thing is CPL. CPL. Your cost per lead can be very high. So in some markets, again, like we're talking about Los Angeles, it's not crazy for $100 per lead to come in through AdWords. The goal is to spend as little as possible to create a lead. But when you talk about spending $100 to make one person who actually goes to your website, clicks to call you, fills out a form, does a chat thing, whatever, spending this kind of money is just very inefficient. So this is where we get to the love-hate of it. It is a really good tool for helping get like this sort of stuff. We want focus data. We want to know that, hey, we're reaching people on certain devices with certain income levels. Like, we want good customers for you, and we can carve it out. The bad side is that it's inefficient. And granted, I know I'm just making up numbers at this point, except for this one. I'm not making up that one. If your cost per lead on AdWords is $100, it's really hard to say, hey, let's keep doing it, keep throwing more money at it. Because that means you're gonna have to have a job that has an average cost of $8, $9, $1,000 or more to make that worthwhile. Otherwise, $100 a lead is worthless to you, right? You can't go out for $100 a lead if it's just reseating a toilet. It's just, there's not enough margin there for you. So this is kind of what we think. If you want to do Google's paid thing, we absolutely highly recommend the Google Local Services up here if it's in your market. It's not everywhere yet, so if it's not in your town, just hold tight. Here's why we like it. It still has the same 10%. You can't quite get this granular on the details, so this part doesn't apply, but you still get that 10%. But your cost per lead, every market's a little bit different, but everyone in your market pays the same price. Typically, it's going to be between like 20 and let's say 28. I think is the highest we've seen per lead for Google Local Services. So every $20, it's a new customer. Every 28, it's a new customer. Wherever your market is, everyone's the same. The only downside with it is it's got two little headaches. One, signing up for it's kind of a pain in the rear. You have to go through a background check. All your guys have to go through a background check. That's just part of it. Great for customers, sucks for you. Once you're through that, it's very easy. The other thing is it's directly as effective as your Google reviews are. So if you only have, let's say 13 reviews on Google, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at local services, you're gonna struggle to get a lot of leads. If you have great reviews on Google, let's say you have 300, 400, 500 Google reviews, it's a great product. Your business will always be found because Google Local Services is tied to both reputation of your business and proximity to the user, those two pillars. If you don't have reputation, Google Local Services, no matter how close you are, it's going to struggle to be relevant for people. So AdWords, we offer it, we do it for people. It's one of those things that's an important part of a diverse marketing mix. Sometimes it's the only option on the table for you. So we're working with a company in Los Angeles, and right now we're waiting on the SEO, which accounts for about 60% of the clicks. We're still building this SEO factor, right? And that takes time. In a competitive market, it takes time. So the only option we have, because we don't have great Google reviews yet, is this 10% for AdWords. As soon as we have enough Google reviews, then we're going to flip them to local services, and we'll never look at AdWords again. So just know it is a two-edged sword. It can be a great product if you use it smart. It can be a really crappy, sloppy choice if you use it poorly. But sometimes it's your only option. Sometimes it's your best option on Google. We just don't like it to be your forever option. We'd like you to be able to grow out of it, to only use it when you want to, and to rely primarily on reputation, on the map section, SEO in the organic section. And if you want paid stuff, then Google Local Services if it's in your area. So that's our love-hate with AdWords. If you want to be able to target and get really specific and granular and time of day, it's awesome. There's nothing like it. But if you want it to be efficient, if you want it to be the cheaper way to create a customer, there's a whole lot of better options to help you capture that 10% right there. So that's it. I'd love to know what you think. What's your market like? What's your budget that you're spending? What's your cost per lead that you're doing? Leave us a comment below. As always, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.